everybody, welcome back to West Virginia Cryptids and Strange Encounters. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do I guess you say, witness interview, but also we're going to talk to a good friend of mine and fellow researcher here in West Virginia. Uh, Let me introduce
Tammy Thrasher from Morgantown, West Virginia.
and Tammy. How long have you been into this? I guess you'd say subject or phenomenon.
30 plus years.
And what actually got you into doing this? I mean, did you have an experience or was it something else? Like some people talk about watching In Search of or the Paris Gimlin film. Was it anything like that, or was it just something you experienced in your lifetime?
It's something that I experienced very, very young. It was back in 1963, 64. My family moved from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, onto the outskirts of Connersville, Pennsylvania, and we moved onto a big farm with very large surrounding farms. And as a kid, I got to explore. I got to run wild. And up above the farmhouse, there was a nice long grove of trees and a gully with a grapevine. So my dad came up, cut the vine loose, made sure it was sturdy, and that's where we went and played every day. Well, after my brother started school, there was no kids but me, so that's where I hung out daily to play with my trucks and all kind of stuff. And just one day I was sitting and playing, and I turned around, and sitting in the laurel bushes was a Bigfoot, which I didn't know at the time. And she just sat there watching me. And this was in the fall. It was probably several weeks after school had started. And didn't bother me. She just sat there, just watched me. Before I go home, I'd line up all my little trucks and cars, go down the dirt path, go to the house. Next day, when I get to go back up to play, my little cars would be moved around. Sometimes she would be there before I get there. Sometimes, as I was playing and swinging on the grapevine and turn around, she would be tucked back in. This went on spring and fall for 3 years. She would just show up. Well, as time went on, and I did tell my dad did go up. He did see her. I was forbidden at that point ever to go back up there. Well, I'm a little kid. Mom and dad worked. So I'd still sneak back up and I'd still get to see her. But it was after I got to school in sixth grade, going into junior high, I wanted to know what I was looking at. And I found some books that showed Loch Ness Monster, and of course, with Patty and stuff. And it's like, Patty, that's what I seen. And any information I could get, I just kept looking. And by that time, I started to realize that the Bigfoot I seen was a young one. It wasn't an adult.
And you said she. Was there any indication that it was a she, or did you just get that feeling from it?
I just got that. I think it was more, I called her a she because her hair was so blonde and just so wispy. The under was darker, but I think that's why I called her a she. She was beautiful. She just, her wispy blonde hair.
And how would you describe like the facial features and the rest of the body?
She's very hairy. Her face was haloed by hair. Her brow line it was thick, but it wasn't. She was still young.
They're not super pronounced. Or
Not right.
okay.
It was just there, but softly there.
Was she completely covered in blonde hair, or was it just like areas? Or
The outer, the fuzz, I call it
okay,
fuzz. The fuzz was very blonde, but the underneath coat was a more caramel brown, if that makes
mm-hmm.
sense.
What about skin? Could you see the color of the skin?
The skin was a brown orangish tint, no wrinkles,
Okay.
just very smooth skin.
Did she ever interact with you other than like that? You said that your cars would be moved. You never seen her move the cars.
No, I never seen her.
But was there ever any other interactions between you and her, or did she just watch you?
She just sat there and watched, and I sat there and played.
So you
It,
never felt threatened?
no,
Okay.
no, never did. That she was my silent best friend. If there was no kids.
Right. Did you feel like she was, I guess, how I want to say this, because there was no one else there? Did it feel like to you that she was just watch or like kind of keeping an eye on you, a guard on you, or anything like that? Or you just think she just wanted to observe you?
I don't know how to explain it. It's like she was put there to be safe. That's how I look at it.
You mean by somebody older than her, or something, or whatever, older than her?
Yeah, what
Okay.
her mama or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was placed there, and just just I don't really know.
That's just a feeling you got.
Yeah, is like this was our playpen. I was safe. She was safe.
Was there ever any other, as you got older, did you realize, hey, there were some things going on that I didn't know about back then, but now that I'm into this, uh, there was things that would happen that you knew probably was related to these things?
Well, that's why I think I say she was placed there,
Mm.
because it's like the water and moat thing, and I think that's why whatever brought her there and placed her to be safe.
But was there ever, like, as you got older, was there activity around that farm or near farm, or the other farms that you heard about that you can actually say, yeah, there was other, these creatures are there other than
No,
her?
because it wasn't allowed to be spoke about.
Okay.
You know, that's like you asked me one time, did I ever talk to her, interact with her and stuff?
Mm.
As kids, we were not allowed to interact with animals on the farm. We weren't allowed to name them. We could clean after them, feed them, water them, but we were not allowed to name them.
So you took that rule even to that point.
Yes,
Okay.
you know, she was there. I was fine with it. She was fine with me, and we just silently hung out together.
So in sixth grade, when you finally realized that what you were seeing and experiencing, or what's the right word there I'm trying to get to, you were hanging out with this thing in sixth grade. You finally realized what it was. How, I mean, did that? I mean, you said you started reading books and stuff. How deep did you go into the subject, even
Oh,
at that young age?
anything I could find. I mean, I I would try to ask other adults, and either they didn't want to talk about it or they didn't have knowledge of it.
Right. So even though Pennsylvania is considered one of the hot spots in the United States, back in the early 60s, it just wasn't talked about, apparently, right?
Not in the area I was in.
Because that was well before, it was well before the Patterson film, 67. Um, so how many years later did you start like doing field investigations?
Uh, we moved out of the area. See, how old was I? I was 10. So early 70s, we moved out of there. We moved to a coal mining town.
Still in
So,
Pennsylvania?
yeah, still in Pennsylvania, outside of Uniontown. And I still had the curiosity, and we were surrounded by woods. And every day, every chance I got, I went and looked for anything because I still I wanted to see her.
Right,
I you know, but I knew I would never see her,
right.
but I still wanted to see one.
What was your when you started doing that? When at what point did you start connecting with like-minded people that you found? How did that come about? With other investigators or people that had experiences. Um, how much longer after that did that happen?
So that was about 3, 4 years later. I was halfway through ninth grade in high school. I got a job at Laurel Caverns, and I did a season up there, and then I got to move to the property, and that's when I started to hear more about the cryptics.
And for those that don't know, Laurel Caverns, the area is Forbes State Forest in Pennsylvania, is considered for to be in that area one of the premier hotspots for Uniontown and places surrounding the area. Um, have did you take any reports from that area?
No, I didn't,
No.
but anybody that would talk, I listened.
So you definitely listened to stories and
Yeah,
okay.
you
When did
know,
you when
the
did you
screams and howls at night. That what is it? Can't identify it.
could you hear those when you were there?
Oh yes, along with bobcat, bear, and bobcats are crazy at night.
Yeah, they do make some noise. So at what point did you get to where it's like, hey, I need to start documenting these accounts and would take the reports and keep all the information from them?
This is going to be sad. I never wrote anything down.
You just kept them up
I
here.
just kept everything in my head. And I know that's terrible.
No, I mean that was a long time ago. It wasn't something that a lot of people did, but I mean, I know you got to the point where you do now. I mean, because
Yes.
we work together um, and you just, I mean, what am I trying to get to here? We worked together, but it was a weird way how we got to be friends.
Yes.
Can you go into that for a minute?
It's amazing what you can find at a Dollar Tree.
Yes.
But yeah, we both ended up at Dollar Tree. I came out one of the aisles. I seen the shirt he had on, and I think it said "Ask Me" or something.
Yeah.
And I took a deep breath because I am shy to a point, and I just walked up to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a shirt that used to say I made that says, "Have you seen Bigfoot? Come and let me know," and stuff like that. And I had a few people come up and you were one of the first that did. Um, so now that we we've known each other probably what 5 years now.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of hiking, a lot of investigating together. Um, recently, we started a well, I had West Virginia Crypts and Strange Encounters, of course, but recently we started a new little group, and that's West Virginia the yeah West Virginia Case, the Bigfoot Collective. I had to. That's pretty sad. My own little hat group, and anyway, but that's that is something that we've gotten together. You and I basically have started, and we have a few other folks in it, and we go around and investigate and do some camp outs and stuff like that. But before I go, I want to ask you one other question. What's your belief? What do you believe these things are? Because I mean, I know you've told me in the past that you when you had your encounter and your experience, you weren't didn't feel threatened. You felt like
No.
it was something friendly, or I guess you'd say like a,
Yeah.
so. So what do you think they are, or do you think they're a primate? Do you think they're some kind of relic hominid? Do you think there's just some other species of a human, or what do you think they are?
I don't know what they are, but just I can see her as I'm sitting here, and there was traits of human, traits of ape. Um, I don't know the correct word, but the brow,
Mm-hmm.
like the caveman type. There's such a mixture that's all in one. I don't know.
And you said you've been in this for 30 some years. Have you ever had another experience anywhere near that since then?
Not that close. I have heard them. I had got probably 8-10 second glimpse of another one, and he looked huge.
When was that?
That was down at Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed down there for a couple weeks.
Which is in Randolph County.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just right to the field, to the wood line, this huge hulk of Bigfoot was just there, and just a glimpse,
And then gone.
just like poof, no more.
Now, do you think it disappeared or just was blended in and it was gone?
I could say with the darkness in the tree line, all he had to do was just go back a little bit
Okay.
because he just seemed midnight black.
And what would you say would be like when you've investigated a sighting? What would you say would have been probably the best one you've investigated?
I think the one so far I liked most is the one from the 80s, the backwaters of Cheat Lake, where the family seen it swim across the bank.
Mm-hmm.
That one, that one sticks out the best to my.
I remember you telling me about that because we discussed that because it was at one of the events I was at, and a gentleman told me about his son seeing one of these things on a right of way as he was hunting, and we put it together, and it was seemed to be pretty much close to the same year that you talked
Mm-hmm.
about that one, and it was on a right of way that actually led to the area where you took the report of.
Yeah, because
So
if you looked at the top of the mountain to the backwaters,
yep,
not a complete straight line, but there was a connection.
yeah, you can definitely follow the right of way to that area.
And then you take those two, and then the guy that's seen it by Cooper's Rocks
Right,
exit, that just,
all right there.
yeah, it just bears off a
Yep,
little bit, but it's still,
yep. Yeah. So that was pretty cool that you and I both have taken a report that completely two different people, but we was able to, you know, validate each other's or their sightings, I guess you'd say, each other's our reports that we took. So Tammy, what are your plans to go on? I mean, how do you what is your goal as far as being into this subject? Or, let me ask you this: is your goal to prove it to others, or is your goal to actually prove to yourself that what you saw as a child is actually out there?
At this point, I don't think I need to prove it to myself anymore.
Okay, that's
And
fair. I mean, that's fair enough.
um, people are going to have to make up their own mind.
Right.
I won't force. I'll tell you my story. I'll give you other reports, but it's still the individual person to make up their own mind.
And you're not out there. I mean, I know you. You're not out there trying to convince other people, on your sighting. You're actually out there trying to help other people understand their sightings, and I appreciate that a lot. And I think that's why you and I have become friends, very very good friends. I actually, as well as some other people that are close to me. I consider you like my big sister. So, and I love you to death. You know, um,
Somebody loves
but yeah, I appreciate everything you do, and I know a lot of other people do, and West Virginia, Mon County, the Bigfoot world, or Mon County, West Virginia, altogether, the Bigfoot world here, has a great ambassador with you, and I appreciate it. That good? Huh?
me. Yes.
All right. Thank you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.